Represent Podcast, we are back with another episode. And not sure what episode this is, but we're back nonetheless. I'm having to wear hats again because your boy needs a haircut, and I have not gotten one yet because I am lazy. But that's fine. Everything's good to go. I may have to buzz my hair off again for the summer because it's getting hot. But yeah, that's all I know. What's going on, man? I was scrolling on social media, and it's that season. It's summertime. Everybody's got free time. Whatever. And last week the Met Gala happened. That's like a big celebrity event. If you don't know what the Met Gala is, it's a party for celebrities. You must be invited to it, and in order to be invited, you must be like a super high up celebrity, right? And then to go, you must pay a $75,000 entry fee to get into the Met Gala, which is wild. And if you want to bring some people with you, it's $400,000 for a table to bring people with you, which is just wild to me. Like, it's the craziest party ever. And on top of everything, the Met Gala is where people come to show off designers and show off the craziest things, like headgear. Men and women are wearing headgear. Some people are wearing like spikes on their dresses. Some people are wearing like weird design. Like it's like not even, some people, if you're wearing a suit and tie, like a black suit and tie, then you are maybe the waiter there. Like, you are not, being in a suit and tie or being in a tux is not enough dress for how these people dress. They dress in crazy stuff. Some people are wearing over $100,000 worth of stuff on their body, and it's wild. And it's quite literally, if you watch Hunger Games, it's these people, those rich people in Hunger Games that are wearing like crazy things, like suits that catch on fire. Like, it's literally that, but real life. There was a lady wearing spikes on her dress, and she looked like a big old puffer fish, and she said she spent like 50,000 on it. I'm like, what, bro? And I was looking at these designs. And my man, Lewis Hamilton, he was there, and he was wearing all black with a diamond. Ooh, Lewis Hamilton looked so good, bro. That man, he looked good. But I was looking, and for some reason, I just started getting mad. I started getting mad watching these people have a good time at this party. I was like, how blind are these people at this party right now? These celebrities who always talk about standing up for what's right, always talk about making a difference, always do this, and they have all this money, bro. Clearly they got all the money. They're some of the richest people in the world, and they go to a party to show people how rich they are, even though we already know how rich you are. And I was mad. I was like, bro, they're at this party, flexing the money, throwing money at the ground, basically. Meanwhile, there's like a war going on around the world. Meanwhile, there's people around the world who are hungry, who need food, who need water. There's people out there who are being evacuated from their towns because they're being bombed from other countries. And then I got more mad because I was like, even in our own backyard here in America, we have homeless people. We have hungry people. We have people without homes. We have people in need. And we have people like in this party, in this venue, they're there having a grand old time doing that. And outside those doors, there's probably homeless people. And we're wasting money on having a contest on who could look the craziest, bro. And I remember I was so mad. And I was like, dang, this is stupid. People are stupid. I would never, right? Whenever you don't have money, you're like, I would never spend my money that way. Every broke person said that ever. But I was mad, and I immediately, like in my bed, felt convicted. And I felt God was saying, well, don't my people do that as well? Don't Christian people do this as well? Not with money, not with parties, not with this. But don't they revolve their lives around something rather than what it needs to be? These people are living a lifestyle with money and fame, and they're having a grand old time. Meanwhile, there's people out here who don't have anything. It seems a bit blind. But Christians, we oftentimes live a life so concerned with our church, so concerned with our own house, so concerned with me, so concerned with my money, so concerned with my finances, so concerned with my problems and my drama and my this and my that. And we live a life blinded by the fact that we're not supposed to be worried about what's going on here. We're supposed to be worried about what's going on out there. We're not supposed to be stressing about our own life. We're supposed to be going out and helping people see God. There's a lot of Christians who are blind to where we need to be going. Unlike these rich people don't have to give their money to homeless people. They don't have to go and feed the needy. They don't have to. But as Christians, it is your job to go out and share Jesus. But a lot of us are blinded by our own comfortability. We are blinded by our own wants and our own needs and our own desires. And we would rather sit in our own churches complaining about stuff inside our church. Well, I wish we had more small groups, and I wish we had a young adult minister, and I wish our carpet was this color, and I wish our pastor wasn't this. And we like to gripe and complain forever. And I almost started crying, bro, because I deal with it as well, obviously. And I was like, how many times do I become so self-centered and so focused on the problems that are going on in our youth group, the problems that are going on in our church, and I'm so frustrated at what's going on, and I'm like, oh, life sucks, oh, this and that, oh, this is so bad, this is so terrible. Meanwhile, there's kids in the South right now being sold into these like sex trafficking camps and rings and all these things across the country, across the world. I'm over here griping about my problems, but I'm blind to the fact that people have it much worse than me. And not am I only blind to the fact that they have it much worse than me, I'm blind to the fact that I need to go and help people. And I think what Christians have the problem of doing is they think that their world is what they see. Christians think, oh, this is my world. I need to fix the problems here. This isn't your world. This is what you can see, but you're not called to stay here. You're not called to stay in your bubble. You're called to go out of it and to go fix and find solutions to the problems that this world has created, which is giving out what God has given you. But we are blind to that because we're just in our bubble. Christians are blind to the real problem that our world has because we are more concerned with our own comfortable lifestyle. We're more concerned with, oh, am I going to have enough money for this? Am I going to do this? Oh, my church is doing this wrong. Oh, this church is doing that. Oh, you shouldn't talk like that. Oh, and we'd rather stay in our little bubble that we know, our little church group, rather than get out of it and actually be the hands and feet of Jesus where it is needed. The world doesn't need a bunch of people at your Baptist church, bro. The world needs a bunch of people willing to go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus. Our church, we have a big church in our small area. Our church isn't that big, but it's a bigger church in our area. So we really are big fish, small pond. What we do is like everything we're doing, from worship, from small groups, from teachings, from events, everything we're doing is new to everybody else. We are kind of like setting the tone of like how churches are rolling here in our community. We just are. And I think sometimes people are so consumed by how big and vast the things that we do are, even though they're not that crazy, that it consumes them, and they're like, oh, we have to make sure this is perfect. We have to make sure this is this. We have to make sure this is this. Oh, we got to make sure that the lights look good. We got to make sure that the preacher sounds good, that the worship sounds good. Our youth band is whack, and they're over here getting on stage. Like, we have to make sure that this is good, and that we're on here a certain amount of songs, and we're doing this and that, and we're doing that. And we're so worried about what's going on inside our walls, which it's important to make sure that what's going on inside the church is good. But sometimes we get so consumed by what's going on in our building, our life revolves around what's going on at First Baptist Church, that we begin to be blinded by the needs outside. We begin to get blinded by the people who will never step foot in this church. Jesus did not die for you to have a really cool Sunday morning experience. He did not die so that your church would run smoothly. and that you could have the coolest events and you could have the most people and you could come and gather and have a great time worshiping. That's not what he died for. He died so that each and every person here on the planet has an opportunity to go to heaven. And your job as a Christian is not to be blinded by the things that are in front of you, by your own personal life, by your own desires, by your own wants, by your own ministries, by your own families, which are good. But you have to realize that this is not the big picture. Your church is not the big picture. Your house, your family, your friends, your school, your job is not the big picture of life. The big picture of life is there is a world with 8 billion people in it, and a lot of which do not know Jesus. That's the big picture. So stop stressing yourself out because your church is doing this little thing wrong, or the carpet's this color, or your friends don't like you, or they're doing this wrong. Stop worrying about that and start worrying about the bigger needs. These kids are being trafficked in Houston every single day, hundreds of them. People up here in the north, they're getting flooded out of their homes. They need help. People in other countries need food and water. People over here need this. People over here need this. And you're so consumed with, man, he hurt my feelings. Don't get blinded by something so small. And that's not to say that the local church is not important. The local church is very important. It's one of the most important things that we can be a part of and that we can help grow. But your local church is not the world. Your local church is there so that it can help your community, help your area find Christ. You're there for people. You're there for discipleship. You're there for leadership. You're there for teaching. You're there for preaching. You're there for all these things, and it's great. But there is a world outside of your city. There is a world outside of your state and outside of your country. God did not die so that the old folks in your church can complain every single Sunday that something is too loud or the AC is too cold. Could you imagine every day complaining about that, bro? Every day complaining like, oh my gosh, I wish our church did this differently. Fam, some places don't have churches. Is my church perfect? Heck no. Ain't no such thing as a perfect church. But if we look at what the church is supposed to look like in the book of Acts, what we see is people going out. And they're going out faithfully, and they don't even care what y'all think. And they know where they need to be. They're knowing what needs to be said, who needs to hear it, and they're letting anybody come in and get it. They're not a big church building. They're a church people. And we have to be less consumed with our building. We have to be less consumed with our environment and broaden our horizons. I was watching these other people complain about this Met Gala thing, and people were like, man, these people are blind. They need to open their eyes to the real issues at hand. Yeah. But again, those celebrities they could do whatever they want with their money. But as a Christian man or a Christian woman of God, you are called, you are designed, in Ephesians 2:10, you are designed to do good works. You are designed to go and do these things. But we would rather sit back in our comfortable bubble and say, I'm doing ministry. I got the biggest church in town, that's ministry. I got the biggest group. I got the biggest this. I'm a worship leader. I'm a leader. I have influence at my job. Everybody knows me. I'm doing great. And we like to live our life comfortable. But whenever you're living your life comfortable, what you're actually doing is you're living your life like this, sitting down. You're comfortable, but you're not able to go and do anything. You can only reach so far. You can't walk anywhere because you're sitting down. And a lot of people are like this in their life, sitting in a chair saying, oh, everything is good, because the only thing that they're concerned with are the things that are in their distance of reach. Oh, yeah, I could just change that. I could pull that up. I can do this. I can do this. Yep, that's going to be good. Oh, everything's great in my vicinity. God does not care about if your vicinity is good or not. He cares if you're willing to go out and help other people in their vicinity. It's not about you. It's not about us. Jesus died so that we can see him. And your goal is to help people see him. There's plenty of problems out there. Every church has its own problems. It's important to take care of your church. It's important to look after your church. It's important to give. It's important to do all these things. But your church is not the religion. You're the church. We need to stop being blind and thinking that, oh, me going to church, that good work is being done. No. You going to church is the first step of something good being done. Because once you leave that church, then it is up to you to go help somebody else. The church is not for you to just sit around and be like, yeah, Lord. No, the church is for you to be equipped for you to then go out and be the church somewhere else. You are the church. Your building ain't the church. It's just some building that someone overpaid for. You're the church. Your church just has lights and has loud music and has a good worship leader. That's not church. You're the church. It's time to take the blinders off and say, the only way something's going to change is if I change it. The only way things are going to happen is if I do them. Because the reason why you're in situations in life is for you to share what God has shared with you. It's for you to help. It's for you to love. It's for you to serve. Take the blinders off and see the problems ahead and say, okay, the reason why I'm here is to help fix these problems. But Christians don't want to do that. No one wants to do that. But Christians would rather act like they're making change, but all they're doing is making their church building more comfortable. That's why as I've worked in the church and as I've gotten older, I don't think that my full-time ministry, whenever I get older, is going to end up being in the church. Because I don't care about the church. Like, I don't care about the little politics going on. I don't care about the little, what's going on. The church is important. But I just don't vibe with church stuff. I want to be on the streets and be the church. I don't want to be the building and take care of the building and make sure our building's good and make sure we're doing this and make sure we got the coolest events and make sure I don't care about all that. Make sure our youth group's the flyest and make sure we got this and make sure our staff is good and make sure we got money for all this, and y'all could do that. I just care about going wherever it is, whatever state, country, continent, just going where there is a need. Where there is a need, God will show a way. That's all I care about. I care about people. I don't care about a building. I care about what God has for us here. That's it. That's all I got, fam. Real talk. I just think it's very easy to be blinded by things that matter, because these things matter. But it's easy to live our life thinking it's the only thing that matters. My church is the only thing that matters. Even if you're called to ministry and your ministry is that church is not the only thing that matters. Your neighbors are what matters too. Your distant relatives, your distant friendships, they matter too. They need Jesus too. And this is for pastors as well. Your own congregation is not the only thing that matters in life. That church matters. That church matters. Make sure you're taking care of other churches. Make sure you're taking care of people. It be the churches with the biggest budgets who help out the least. They really do. People with all the money help the least, give the least, because they're consumed with what they're doing. And they're like, well, if I could do it good, if we could do it better, we're going to be good and we're going to be doing ministry. No, fam. Give that money away. Help somebody else. Build a different church. That's what it's about. Just like it's not about these celebrities dressing up in costumes and drinking fancy wine. It's not about you. And it's not about just the things around you. It's about the 8 billion people here on earth that need to know the good news. And you're the one who has it. You're called to it. There's a need, and you're the answer. Go and be the answer to someone's need. Can't think of a better way to wrap that up right there. Represent Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, every single Tuesday. Don't be blind. Help out your local church. Do your local things. Do the things that you can control. Focus on yourself. That's all good. But don't think that's the only thing that matters. Whenever we blind ourselves, whenever we put blinders around our eyes like this, sometimes we think this is all the world is. We think, oh, my local church, that's all the world is. Oh, my little worship band, that's all the world is. Oh, my friends, oh, my family. If I could just fix all the problems in these, then we'll be good. Take your blinders off and realize that the world is so much bigger than your own little life here. And that you're not called to stay right here. You're called to get out of your own barriers and to go out and disciple and give the word of God to those who need it. That's what you're supposed to do. Represent Podcast. We love y'all. Every single Tuesday. Sheesh. Peace.